All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on the 1010XL app. We're live on Facebook, on 1010's page, on my own page. It'll be saved, archived, and shared all over social media platforms and other podcast platforms. However you listen, watch, or a combination of both, YouTube, Spotify, you name it. We're all over it. I want to thank Grammage for that. My esteemed producer takes care of all of that. Of course, it's a Tuesday. It's a work day, so we are working today, no doubt about it, right here in the 1010XL studios, and brought to you by Team Tommy Mack. There's some of the best out there, man, and love having them on the team, and I got you covered out there, right? I mean, you need some food, you need some flooring, you need some attorneys. You know, you need some getting out of jail. Well, they're not free cards, but I can at least help you get out of the clink. I put this out there, Graham. Hey, good morning, Graham. It's good to see you again, brother.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Did you get a haircut? It looks like you might have gotten a haircut or something.
Yeah,
all right, good for you.
I rolled out of bed today and just threw the hat on, but I did get a haircut.
That's okay, cool. Yeah, they cut off the locks, huh? Do you feel weaker? Like, was that Samson who cut the...
Samson.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a little, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
it's just more motivation to get back in the gym.
Okay. I'm the opposite. I get weaker as my hair gets longer. I think I get stronger if it's shorter.
That's true.
Sense?
That might be...
Maybe
it was just getting a little scraggly. Just needed to clean it up a bit. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But great to be here and great to be alive. And anyway, I put that out there for Chris Lucero's bail bonds. If you, your friend, or loved one get thrown in the clink, he'll get you out in a blink. And don't try to run because he'll catch you. They will. They're not slow. That's right. No doubt about it. But great to have them on board. And they helped us out. So make sure you plug the number in your phone, 904-822-2245 for Chris Lucero's bail bonds. Hopefully you don't need it. But if you do, that's the one to call. Now, hopefully the Jag players don't need it during this week in between games over in England. We don't want that because Chris Lucero can't help you out over in England. Well, he could probably make a call or two to get there. But hopefully they stay out of trouble. I like what Doug said. Hey, don't make any news off the field. All right, Jags beat the Falcons 23-7 in London. Hey, a win is a win. We'll take it. The Falcons at 2-1 going into the game. Now both clubs at 2-2. You know, the Falcons, look, they good running attack. Bijan Robinson's the real deal. Decent offensive line, pretty good offensive line overall. They've got some weapons, although you'd think they'd go to them more, although they did okay. Desmond Ridder, he's all right. You know, he's okay. You got to hone him in a little bit. He's got a great arm. He's pretty athletic. Made some throws. He just needs more time, I think, but... overall, look, it was a good win. I think when you break it down, it's not as pretty as it might have looked right after. Like, you're all right, a victory. We're so happy we got a victory. But then when you break it down, you're like, okay, there's some things we still need to work on, right? We're not there yet. Third down, stopping the run wasn't good. I mean, they got ripped pretty good by Bijan. Now, granted, I think he had a 30-yarder, so that factors in. But still, very, very good player. The third down is a problem still. Even our offense wasn't very good. We'll go through that. Our defense gave up 50% on third down. That's, good QB. If you're going against a good QB, right? That they're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you. I don't think they were worried about Desmond Ridder, but I think he's a work in progress. Which sidebar here, and I know he's already heard it. And I've met Rodney before. He's not a bad guy, but Rodney Harrison's comments about Zach Wilson, calling him garbage to Chris Jones. I commented on Twitter. It's just so unnecessary. Now, look, in Rodney's defense, players are saying that in pretty much every locker room. That goes against Zach Wilson. Now, when they say garbage, look, I've heard it. I mean, it's kind of a slang in a locker room. He's garbage, which means he's just not very good. It sounds a lot worse than it is, and it's still pretty bad. But bottom line, a former player analyst, or any analyst, in my opinion, should not say something like that when assessing a player. I think that's low. That's a low blow.
Especially because he's doing it in talking to Chris Jones, clearly trying to bait Chris Jones into basically buying and being like, yeah, he's garbage, and trying to get Chris Jones basically into trouble for saying it.
Well,
and Chris Jones handled it very professionally.
Oh, he was great. He was great. I think it was trying more of a credibility, like he's trying to get this cred, like calling him garbage, and Chris Jones is like, it's not garbage. He's okay. He's going to be all right. He made some plays the other night, and he made some bad plays, but he's coming along. Regardless of how you feel about Zach Wilson, he's got enough tools and enough arm. Like, he's got a nice arm, throws a nice ball. If he can figure it out, he should be an okay QB. He's not going to be a super duper star, I don't think. But there's no reason that kid can't be, and no knock on Brock Purdy, because Purdy's a good player, but just being more accurate. What is it? More accurate, knowing where to put the ball, not freaking out over something you don't see or haven't seen before, or pressure. It takes a little time sometimes.
I think with Zach Wilson, it was mainly it is mainly just reading defenses for him. I mean, at least from what I can see, especially on Sunday night, because I thought he played well. When there were even tough throws.
Yep.
He's got a good arm.
He's got a good arm.
Was he overdrafted? Yes. Yep. But was he drafted that high for a reason? Yes. There's clearly tools there. He can clearly throw it. He's got athletic ability. Where I see Zach Wilson really struggles is I'm snapping it. First read's not open. Second read's not open. And I got to go through my whole progression.
Yeah.
Does he end up making the right decision, which sometimes is just throwing it away or checking it down?
That's where taking off.
Right.
Or taking off.
That's where he struggles. And I thought that Nathaniel Hackett on Sunday night kind of made it to where it was going to be a lot of one-read throws.
Yeah.
And he played well.
Simplified it for him. Yeah. Actually, what's his name? And I like the commentary, by the way. I thought they did a good job. Louis Riddick and Dan... what's the QB's name? Orlovsky. Yeah, I actually interviewed his dad on The Horse's Mouth. Really nice guy. Lives in Ponte Vedra. But yeah, so speaking of quarterbacks, look, I tell you what, Trevor was okay on Sunday, but I'll tell you what I think sparked it all. When Trevor ball, we saw a little Trevor
100%.
Ball, right? He takes off. I'm telling you.
He was devastating the Falcons with his legs.
He was, and it's just such a weapon, and I think it gets into a rhythm for any quarterback. I don't care what quarterback we're talking about, because what are you doing? You're moving the ball. You want to make throws, you want to make bombs, you want to make pretty throws, you want to make unbelievable, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you want to move the ball down the field. And when you take off and run and get 20 yards and don't get hit or slide or dive or whatever, jump out of bounds, and you're just gashing the defense. I'll tell you, from a defender standpoint, when you got everything covered and that QB takes off, it's a pain in the ass to have to turn around and then go chase him. And you get gas so easy when you have a QB. And for him, and I think a lot of QBs, and I would say this to quarterbacks that can run, take off, make something happen. It's okay. You don't have to force a throw every single time. Those lanes open. You see it. Go get 7. Go get 10. It doesn't always have to be this mad scramble for 50 or whatever. It could be just to get you out of Dodge. And I do think it's funny. I was talking to my oldest, Avery, last night. We were watching a game. We were just talking about, like, you got it when you're outside that pocket. QBs, you got to be aware that you can just toss it. You can just get rid of it. You don't have to take a sack. You don't have to force a throw. You don't have to heave it way out of bounds. You can just toss it. It's an incomplete pass. Once you're out of bounds, you can do that. You can toss it right out. So you got to be aware of that. But I think with Trev, and look, man, he threw some really nice balls. There's no doubt about it. Everyone thinks the hasty ball was a dime. It was a great throw because it was on the run. It would have been a tough catch, I think, for anybody. It would have been a great catch, don't get me wrong. And it hit him in the hands, so, it hits in the hands. You're supposed to catch it.
Hasty's he's not the tallest guy either. I mean,
No, I know. But he scored on
receiver.
He scored on throws before, just not where he had to go up like that. That one down the sideline last year was phenomenal. So, I think Trevor really his motor really started going. And the confidence goes, the rhythm comes, then the throws come. Then it just, I don't know. To me, it's like
it feels like
it's a good rhythm for him to be in.
It feels like any time early in a football game, Trevor takes off like that and goes and gets 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels like the minute he does one or two of those, he stops thinking so much and he's just playing ball.
You're right.
And he's so damn talented that when he's just playing like he's back at Clemson, he's ridiculously good. It's the times that we've seen Trevor struggle is when he's kind of thinking that extra half a second to figure out the zone or whatever, and he's a little delayed or a little off, and that's when he might sail a ball here or think too long there.
Right.
One of those runs always seems to just get him in the perfect mindset. It does.
And think about it. Think about how many times the underneath players take off and go vertical with vertical routes, right? You're in man, you're in 2, maybe some 4. You know what I mean? So you can see them bailing out of there. And if you're feeling it and nobody's open, you don't feel good throwing it, man. Just get off and run. I thought he did a great job. I think any quarterback like that, whoever we're talking about, I would. If I'm their coach, I'd be, look, there's nothing wrong. Just don't get killed. Right? Don't take unnecessary hits. Get down. Right. Dive if you think you can dive. Slide when you got to slide. Get out of bounds when it's time to get out of bounds.
Well, I think a lot of times, just like you're saying, run smart, of course.
Yep.
But as long as you do run smart, I think a lot of times mobility can help you avoid injury.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times if you don't have that mobility to escape pressure, and you kind of just have to stand in the pocket and let yourself get hit.
Yep.
Think about when you're in the pocket. I mean, I know that the narrative on Lamar, for example, has been that he gets hurt too much because he runs a lot.
Right.
Well, 2 years ago when he got hurt, not this past year, but in 2021 when he got hurt and was done for the year, he was in the pocket. Then he got hurt.
He got drilled.
Because you're standing there, man.
Yep.
You're standing straight up.
Yep.
There's your offensive linemen and their defense are falling all over your knees and your legs.
I'll tell you what, Trev took a ton of shots this game. He's a tough. We say it all the time. He's more athletic and faster than you think, and he's tougher than you think. Yep. Forget the hair looking nice and shiny and beautiful. That kid's a tough individual, man. And look, I mean, the touchdown of Ridley, that would look great job that Ridley improvised, but look what he did. He made the guy miss and then took a huge shot to deliver. That when you do that for your team as a QB, everybody on that team wants to fight for you. Every single one. When you're putting your body on the line like that to make that throw, everybody on that team, including the staff, they're like, man, I'd die for that kid. I'll go kill for that kid. I'll go do whatever I got to do for my quarterback because he's that kind of player. So, look, we got to see more out of that. Of course, I do want to get into Josh Allen now at 6 sacks. Congrats to him. We're going to see Cam come back. We saw a change at guard with Shatley. Interesting how sounded like they needed his strength, right? And he's considered one of the strongest guys on the team.
Shatley?
Shatley is, he's real in the weight room. He's very, very strong. Peterson came out and just said, hey, nothing against Ben Bartch. He's fine, but we thought we need a little more oomph up front. It didn't didn't totally work. Cam comes back. This is going to be an interesting thing for me, and I'm all for whatever. I don't care how it ends up, whether it's Cam and Walker at left tackle and left guard. I don't see it the other way. We didn't see any of that in camp, right? We didn't see Cam at left guard ever.
No.
At all. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Little definitely took a lot of I don't know if I want to say a lot, but he definitely took snaps at guard.
At guard he did. Next to Cam, though. Only next to Cam.
Yes, at left guard.
I never saw him go left guard and someone else was playing left tackle. It was when they were together. So they have prep for that. So that's a good thing. You got to put Cam in the lineup. You got to find a way to put Cam and just think about, what's the best? The best is left tackle. And Walker's played good. Don't get me wrong. Walker's played okay overall. He's probably out of the 5 the more consistent. I would think. Got beat a little bit last week, but hey, I think overall he would. But I got Cam at left tackle. One thing Cam will bring that they've shown a little bit. But he's going to bring more nastiness.
Yep.
And we need it. We need a little, my ETN going 20 for 55 is not good.
It's not.
That's not good. He's too powerful, too explosive. What does that mean? And think about this just for a second. What does ETN need? I don't know.
Not a lot.
That wide of a hole. slip through and get out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he needs a Mack truck size hole to make something happen. So we got to get a little more, aggressive on that one. But it'll be great having Cam back again. I did think the O-line was okay at times, where they were setting the tone. They were doing all right. But then, hey, listen, credit Atlanta's got a good defense. They do. They're a pretty good defense overall. Bates is good. Those two inside backers are good. Up front, Grady Jarrett's pretty tough. They're not like they don't have any players on that side. Calais made some things happen.
I agree with you that at times in the game they were fine, and then at times of the game, kind of like a lot of times this year, they were really struggling. And I thought moving Barch to the bench was the right decision.
It's fine.
And we've talked about this on this podcast before. This offensive line doesn't need to be the Eagles' offensive line.
Yeah.
It just needs to be serviceable. There can't be any of the five.
Better than average, though.
Yes.
Better than average.
And there can't be any of the five that just get picked on.
Right.
That are just liabilities, right? All five need to, at the least, just hold their own and not get just beat all the time.
Yep.
And I don't watch a ton of line play, but from the guys that do watch more line play, from from hearing Baselli talk on the drill and hearing Lageman say, and Lageman wasn't a lineman, but he played. The vibe I've gotten is that Barch has been a little bit of that weak link, and that adding a little strength is a plus, and then certainly adding Cam back, and like you said, I think adding a little nasty to that line, and I think maybe adding a little nasty could also mean maybe adding a little accountability. Like, hey, man, if a couple of guys are kicking ass, like, you better hold up your end of the bargain, too.
Well, listen, look, back to Barch. Was he playing his best football? No. I think it's easy to pick out a guy and be like, that's the guy, especially when the coach makes the move.
It is. You're right.
Look, Chris Jones beat them all. Even Sheriff, he beat him, too. So they've been beat overall. I tell you, what was the play? Was it a blitz or a stunt? And two guys are looking at each other like, aren't you supposed to have him? They were both like, duh, like, who's supposed to have this guy, right? Clean shot, right? Clean way in to the quarterback. So here's the thing. What if Shatley's did well enough at guard that they're like, you know what? Let's just keep Walker as our swing. Could that happen? I'd be pissed if I'm Walker. I'd be like, oh, man, that's a tough pill to swallow. But they got to do what's right for the team. They got to do what's right for that quarterback and make sure that he got hit way too much for my liking. Some of it was his own doing, but a lot of it, he got crunched a couple times. He's a tough dude, man. He got smacked a couple times. You're like, ooh, man. Because I tell you, I think I've told you this before. I always watch to see whether it's our QB or the other team if they get hit on every throw. I always, before I go to see who catches the ball, I want to see if anybody hit the QB because it means something. Like that throw to Ridley, it's still a great throw, but it's an even better throw that he made the guy miss and know that he's going to get absolutely killed. He's got no chance to protect himself to make that throw, and he knows it, and he does it anyway.
And it was a dime.
It was a dime, yeah. Well, he's wide open, so I expect him to, come on. He's like sitting there in the end zone like.
But that's an easy throw to sail, though, if you know you're about to get hit. Like, I feel like Trevor from early last year would have sailed that ball out of the end zone.
Nah, I don't know. Hey, look, it was a great play. I'm not taking nothing away from it. Look, he's thrown some dimes. He sure has. And that was a great throw. Great play. Look, I thought Kirk was pretty good. Ingram had a good day. Overall, we'll go through the stats. Overall, look, it was a good, solid win. Darius Williams, awesome job. That was huge. We got out of our seats for that one, jumping up and down. That was a good one. But look, it was a good win. We needed that victory. Buffalo, we'll get into Buffalo on Friday. That's gonna be a tough one. Hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen on the gridiron. There's no doubt about that. I'll tell you what did happen last week, Grammage. So every week, I'm asked by Jaguars Today to do these picks. And they're called like you pick winners and then you rank them like they're called confidence picks. So the most confident gets 15. How about this? So winners, where'd it go? Winners. 13-3.
Wow.
I picked 13 winners. Let me make sure that's right. I had 3 losses, 4.
My man knows ball.
No, 12. Maybe that's 12. Sorry, 4, 8. Yeah, 12-3. Not bad. And I picked them an hour before they were due in.
That's knowing ball.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know.
You need to head to Vegas.
Cleveland. Indy I had at 11. So I gave Indy a pretty good confidence. I thought they'd beat the Rams at home. No can do there. But anyway, good times. It was a good look. It was a good week of football. Good weekend of football, I should say. I tell you this, though, I had to crank. I mean absolutely crank some Metallica in the car this morning after I dropped the kids off because this Taylor Swift stuff. I got to balance it out. My gosh, I got her songs in my head. They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's ever. Look, I'm all for it. Have fun, man. What the hell? You're young. Do whatever you want. But they must be all this. You see more and more Kelsey commercials. They're out of nowhere. So you got to wonder. It's been going on for a while.
I do think
this isn't something new. I think they've been maybe hanging out or figuring stuff out.
I do think have you seen the Experian commercial?
Yeah.
I do think that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "You're Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
this many Pro Bowls, whatever." And he's like, "You're so and so.
Yeah.
Perfect credit score."
Yeah, but he also did a COVID shot. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Kelsey's all over the place. Hey, good for him. Listen, that guy comes to play. I don't care who he's dating. Makes no difference to me.
Taylor Swift has this down to an absolute science, by the way.
Yeah.
Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are going to date for however long, a couple months, a year, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
They're going to break up. And about a year after that, she's going to come out with an album. And it's all going to be about breaking up with Travis Kelce and how heartbroken she is and whatever. And it's going to do numbers.
Yeah.
And then she's going to go on tour and do even more.
The amount of kids that are watching ball, not that I don't really, again, but it doesn't matter to me. Good for him. He's the man in that locker room. He's strutting even more than he normally struts. Right. He's like, yeah, that's right. I'm dating Taylor Swift.
I did like, though.
That's hilarious.
It was nice because they were definitely getting carried away with it on the broadcast on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But when Zach Wilson started playing well, that became the narrative of the game. So they backed off the Taylor Swift stuff for a while. And I was like, okay, this is nice. We're back to watching football.
Yeah.
Because if the Chiefs had gone and won by 28, and Kelsey's got 2 touchdowns.
They're going to be all over.
Yeah, so the fact that Zach Wilson helped make it competitive, I was like, okay, now this is a football game.
Ryan Reynolds didn't get
hardly
any love at all.
No, dude.
He's standing right there.
Taylor Swift's in the building. It may as well be. I guess so. May as well be me in there. I mean, if Taylor,
would you drool? If she walked in, would you drool?
It's just not really my type. But I mean, I'd be starstruck because it's Taylor Swift.
Right.
But I mean, she's the most famous person in the world right now, right?
She's doing great, man, and she gives back, so I'm all for it. She's cool by me. Whatever. It's all good, man. It's all good. All right, let's get into the I want to talk about Josh Allen real quick because I know a lot of people are, look here now, look at he's got 6 sacks. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. That guy's got 6. Look, I think a half should have gone to Herndon and Foley on Sunday because they helped set it up nice. Hey, he still gets the sack, don't get me wrong. But I will tell you this, regardless of the ones when he goes to college, he's like, I got 6 sacks. And they're going to be like, yeah, well, 2 of them in Indy, you just kind of pushed them out as he scrambled. Yeah, but what's the retort? Well, if I didn't hustle my ass off to make him go out of bounds, he might have got the first down and changed the whole outcome of the game. That's what your retort is. But I want to just talk about his last sack because go watch his last sack in the game this past Sunday. Go watch the technique. Go watch the dip. Watch the dip. Watch the rip, and then watch the strip. It was absolutely a classic showcase of how to rush the passer. I've been waiting for that for a long time, not just from him, from the other guys as well. Now, Trayvon got a sack too. Look, their effort, I don't give credit for effort, okay? Effort is, you're a professional football player. There's no wow, he's trying hard. Good.
Right.
Good for him. He should be trying hard. Right. You're in the NFL. What are you talking about? I don't give extra credit for that. But they are hustling. There's no doubt about that. They are being aggressive, and they are hustling. But what I saw out of Josh Allen on that last sack was a thing of beauty, and I want to see more of it. And if Trayvon could get that down, that could be really nice together. And by the way, Cam's back. Is Smoot back? Wouldn't it be great to have Smoot back?
Please.
Now, maybe they just wanted him there to keep him on track with his rehab, whether it's there in London, England, whatever, who cares? But maybe he's ready. Maybe he's ready to come back. Wouldn't that be nice? And what Smoot gives you is not just a guy that you put in the rotation, a guy that can be your stand-up outside backer. Your backup to Trayvon, move Trayvon inside if you want from time to time. He's big enough, fast enough, good enough pass rusher, and tough enough to play that position at a high level. He's shown it. So does he come back and make a difference to this defense, which will only make it even better for Josh and Trayvon and everybody else. But great on the defense in that regard. Not good on third down. Again, let's go through the stats, if I may. Brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, baby. Love having all my businesses on there, and more to come. We've got something cooking for a Thursday night happy hour out at the beach with catching up with Tommy Mac. Yeah, man, could be a good deal. All right, let's go. 23-7, Jags Falcons. Yards per carry. Jags at a 3.3, dismal 3.3, and Trevor bailed you out because he was the one that really got it going. And again, Trev, keep it going, man. Take off, baby. Make it happen. And whoever's calling plays, which I think Doug is now, it looks like it anyway, let's do some planned things too. You know, fake the RPO, let them come out.
I was calling for that all game, man. It felt like there were multiple times. Again, if it's a called handoff, then you need to hand it off because that's what the coach is telling you to do.
Right.
But there were a lot of times where I felt like the entire Falcons D-line was totally collapsing one way towards where the handoff was going. As ETN crossed his face. I'm like, man.
Well, you got to wonder if he's gun shy from the other game. Was that Kansas City? Remember, he kind of went rogue and went out.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know that answer. I'm guessing there, speculating, which you should never ever do. But that could be it, right? But I agree with you. Like, there are times, like, man, they're all going for that run. Pull it out, even come out and pass or take off because you've got that kind of ability.
I absolutely loved the first third down of the game, the little speed out they did with ETN. They put ETN out, kind of like what they've done with Agnew before, where ETN came in motion and came right back out. It was an easy 5 yards on like 3rd and 3 or something. I'm like, yes. Because clearly what they've been doing so far early in the season on short yardage hasn't really been working, and I think it might be as a result of the interior of the line not getting enough push to do stuff inside. You got speed outside, man. You do. It's just
look, it's hard to win on speed outside because the other team typically has the same speed or close to it. You know what I mean? Like, I even want to see Trevor do more. He's got length, man. I mean, 1 yard to him is nothing. Find a gap and shoot your arm through. You know what I mean? I mean, that's like go over the top and just dunk it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's got that, and he's got this speed. So you mix it up and you keep him off balance. And then you could try the outside as well. No doubt about that. But yards per carry, 3.3 for the Jags, 5.8 for the Falcons. Bijan Robinson, 14 of 105.
That guy's ridiculous, man.
7.5 yards per carry. Yes, he is very good, and their O-line is good. I'll give him credit. Look, you still won 23-7. Reality, your defense gave you 7. So you won 16-7. Low scoring game, whatever. You did what you had to do. It's got to be better, though. It's got to be better, and right away. Because these stats, if this is Buffalo, these stats are a lot worse than they appear to be right now. Yards per attempt, both over 6. We're at 6.9. Trevor at 77% completion. So that's pretty good. 7 yards. Like to see it even further. 8. I like to even see it further, but we'll take 8. High 7s would be nice. They were at 6.2 at 61.3%. So I always look at that just in case you're new to the program. It just shows how far. Are you dinking and dunking or are you taking some throws down the field? right? And to me, that matters, right? Because if you're at, what were they at? Well, no, the week before, I think we were with Kansas City. I want to say Trevor was like the lowest he's ever been in yards per attempt. It was 5.8 or something crazy like that. So just shows like, you're
kind of nearing like Minshew levels.
Yeah, right.
Remember, Minshew used to have these crazy high completion percentages, but he'd average like 5 yards.
Yeah, 6 yards carry, or a throw. No, you're right. All right, third down. We were 5 of 14, 35.7%. Against the Falcons, it's good enough. No disrespect to them, but and credit their defense. They're pretty darn good. And we were 1 for 2 on fourth down. That's 50%. We'll take that. They were 6 of 12 on third down with Ritter, and no disrespect to Ritter, but with a quarterback that's not there yet, they were still able to manage plenty of third down conversions. 0 for 1 on fourth down. We had 4 sacks. Of course, Josh Allen had 3, and they had 2 sacks. No picks for us, 2 for them. We had a +3 turnover ratio, so that's a very, very good day in that regard. So overall, a good win, a good solid win. I don't think you sit there and be like, wow, they've arrived. They haven't yet. I think there's still a work in progress. I think we saw some glimpses of better offense, but not consistent enough where we need more, right? We need a little bit more. Need to be better on third down. Got to give ETN some room, man. You just got to give him a little bit of room. You don't got to give him a ton of room, but you got to give him some room and get that balance going back in the play calling.
I was just about to say that 3.3, right? Yards per carry?
Yep.
I was just about to say, if you could bump that, if you could get that to like a yard higher.
Yeah, 4.3 would be nice.
They may have scored 38 points.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a gigantic difference in that football game.
Yep.
I think more shots would have been available. I think that ETN probably could have busted 1 or 2 for a big gain, maybe even a touchdown.
Yep.
That little bit of extra push on those lesser carries, can I get a half a yard more, 1 yard more?
Yep.
That type of thing.
Especially on short yardage.
Correct.
Yep.
And I could not agree more with you on those reads.
Yep.
Let Trevor keep a couple of those, man.
Listen, we call it Trevor ball. That's what I'm talking about. That's part of the we've been saying it for almost maybe 2 years. Last year for sure. Trevor ball is what? When he goes rogue or off script, but he gets into a flow of throwing, running, making things happen, and doesn't look like a robot doing it. Not that he looks like a robot. Don't say I said that. I'm not talking about that. But it just gets him more comfortable.
I think everybody gets what you mean, though.
You can see his body language. You can see it. And he's like, come on, let's go. Yeah, I'll take off and run. Yeah, I'll run your ass over. Yeah, I'll outrun you. Or, yeah, I'll throw a dime down the field when you're not ready for it. That's the rhythm and flow you got to get him in. And I think every quarterback in that regard, especially those that possess the ability to take off and run and make something happen with their feet.
I just think, again, you don't want to do it obviously all the time, like we've talked about. You got to protect your QB. But if you just do it a few times a game and keep it in the front seven's head on the defense that, hey, he could pull this and keep it, that I feel like that's going to make the offensive line and Travis Etienne's life a lot easier. Because now everyone's not going to sell out to that one. One thing that can be kind of tough about shotgun is if you have the running back on either side, for the most part, that probably means that if you're going to hand it off, the running back's going to cross your face and you're going to go. Not always.
Oh, split backs were so easy to stop the run. It was so easy to read.
Right. So
easy to read.
And how do you counteract that? You have the QB keep it a couple times.
Yeah, right.
Maybe not the best example right now because of how poorly they looked last night, but Daniel Jones does that sometimes.
No, he does. But here's another thing about Trevor. He can throw across his body better than most. Like, he doesn't have to stop and set. He can do it in the air. Like, he can just do it without losing any motion. So that's another weapon. Look, you got to look. You could say, well, what about Purdy, Tom? He doesn't run all over the place. No, but he's ridiculously accurate from the pocket. I mean, you can't deny that. So he doesn't really have to take off and run. And I'm not saying Trevor and these other guys can't be as accurate as Purdy, but they're just not at this time. So when you're not, what else do? You pull out the other weapons that you have. I look at Josh Allen. To me, when that guy gets going, it's not just throwing. It's running around making plays. And whether that's throwing on the run, running, taking off and running, or just making things happen, he's into the flow of the game when he gets to do all that stuff. Now, I don't know if I want Trevor running that much because you do get, look, all it takes is one shot to that collarbone and you're done, right? You crack that thing in half. I don't think he does enough shrugs to protect it. Maybe you should do more shrugs, Trev. Get some more muscle. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, it's one shot away, so you got to be a little bit careful there. But that's the kind of quarterback I see Trevor Lawrence being. And when he gets into that kind of motion, that kind of flow, that kind of rhythm, look out. That's when he's most dangerous in my book.
And back to the Purdy thing, when my left tackle is Trent Williams, this conversation changes a be right?
Okay, good point. Which helps him be accurate. He can hang in there a little bit longer. Right, good point. Good point.
When I'm running the ball, too, I don't need to deceive the defense at all. I'm just going to run it down your throat, and I got Trent Williams, and I got a great rest of my line, too.
Yeah.
And I got George Kittle, who's the best blocking tight end in football.
Yep.
Like, that stuff changes things, obviously.
It does.
With this team, with the line struggling a little bit, I need to do everything I can, in my opinion, to deceive the defense and make them hesitate.
Now, I'm going to say this without watching the coach's tape, but I think when Trevor got hit a few times this past weekend in the pocket, he was trying to hang in there to make a throw. You know what I mean? And it just he couldn't get it out. Right? Now I'm not 100%. Saying every time. But you could tell, like, he's sitting there waiting. And now you got to have that clock in your head as a QB, like it's coming. I don't have 4 seconds. I don't have 3 most of the time. I got about 2.5. And you better have that clock in your head like, ooh. So what do? I'm either going to get hit, I'm going to make a bad throw, I'm going to take off and run. Choose the latter. Take off and run.
Well, again, it's like what we were talking about earlier. A little bit of mobility can honestly help you avoid injury sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
I'd rather my QB escape with his legs and get out in space where he's either going to end up throwing it away or running for 5 yards and sliding or whatever, then sit in the pocket and have 3 guys fall on top of him.
Agreed.
I thought he did. I totally agree with you that let's utilize Trevor's legs as much as possible without being stupid.
Man. Yeah.
As much as possible without being dumb.
I agree.
And I think, though, that Trevor, I think he pretty much every time runs smart.
Yep.
Like we said, he's good at knowing when to get out of bounds, when to slide. The one time he dove, he knew that he had a little bit of space to dive and get an extra yard.
Jeez, and that's an extra yard. He's 2 yards long.
Yeah, that's true.
Himself.
You're right.
Maybe 3. Well, he's not 9 feet tall, but with his arms
forward, you're right.
With his arm going for, he's probably 9 feet long. That's 3 yards.
He's a giraffe, man.
He's a giraffe. He is, though. But it's a good thing to have. It's a good weapon to have. No question about it.
It's ridiculous for his body type. To be as quick and agile as he is. It's like someone as lanky as him should not be able to change direction like he does. Yep. You'll see him put linebackers in a blender, man. Like, you'll see him juke some people out and make sharp cuts like he's a running back.
Speaking of which, people asking about Muma, I thought he played fine. I thought he got more comfortable. They need him to step up and make plays, so that's what he's there for. I noticed a lot of substitution this past week. I saw some Abdullah in there. I actually thought, like, there was a time I was like, it was actually right before the pick. I was like, the guys aren't out there. Are they tired? Like, what's going on? And then the pick happened. I was like, oh, who cares?
Right.
Pick 6. Beautiful play by Darius Williams. No doubt about that. All right, that's going to do it for me. And Grammage this time around here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac, brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, some of the best businesses out there. Listen, I only endorse good people. I ain't got time for all this other stuff. I like good people, good business. They do it the right way, and they take care of their people, and they take care of their customers. Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, J-Dog Junk Removal. Hey, you veterans out there, you need some work? Or if you know a veteran, make sure you go to jdogjunkremoval.com. The number's right there. It's an 800 number. You can call them. You can sign up online. You can look at everything right there on the website. Azar Sausage Company. We're going to be doing some events with them as well. That's what I eat. When I'm having sausage, I have Azar. And by the way, most of the restaurants in this town, that's what they have too. So if you're out there getting, whatever, sausage dogs, whatever it is, gumbo, whatever is gumbo's got sausage. Whoever's got sausage in there, you're eating Azar sausage. Of course, Meat 55 will be having another event October 19th. Simply the best burger you'll have. It's the Tommy Mac Smash Burger. I smash it. It's great. It's some of the best meat you'll ever have. Carpet Man Flooring. It's not just LVP. Carpet Man's LVP. No, it's tile, it's laminate, it's hardwood, it's carpet, it's all the highest quality of all the flooring you can imagine at the lowest prices. Make sure you check out Carpet Man Flooring and the Truck Accident Law Firm. They only do truck accidents. They're the dream team of truck accidents. Over $1 billion recovered for their clients. You're not going to see them all over TV and all this stuff, but they get the job done. TruckCrashLaw.com. Its proof is in the pudding, as Jack Del Rio used to say. Hey, Jack, hope you're doing well. That'll do it for us this time around. Thanks, Grammage. Till next time, stay safe, be cool. We'll catch you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace.